Hey guys, Drifter here. Today I've got a video for you about the Black Ops Cold War teaser trailer, the upcoming worldwide reveal, and of course the final Easter egg for Warzone, which has been solved to reveal a nuclear weapon hidden in Bunker 10. If you want to do this, just land down in grid F8 by the park, enter the code on the number pad that you see in this video, and it will open up to reveal a nuke plus a ton of loot. Shout out to Noah J456 and the Zombies team that managed to solve this Easter egg, because I absolutely could not. This was the most fun Easter egg so far. It was the coolest reveal, it was the most game-changing thing, and it's a really great way to start out any Warzone match just totally loaded, because you can just land down there, punch in the code, you open up 4 or 5 red chests, you get all this awesome free stuff, and you have enough money to get a loadout most of the time. So we did that and they just went to murder people, but that's not really the news. The news is that Black Ops Cold War is revealed officially, finally confirmed to be the game, and the teaser trailer for it also came out yesterday. Sadly, the teaser trailer had no gameplay, but it definitely sets the tone for the game, which is gritty, dark, realistic. It gives a setting in the late 60s, early 70s. It's going to be an espionage type game, but you know, pretty much all Black Ops is. The short version of this is that the trailer is spliced together from footage of a real-life former KGB agent giving an interview about Russian active measures. You've probably heard the word active measures before, because this is the term given to their counterintelligence campaigns that they run on many nations, including us, and trying to affect our elections and many other things. It is also mixed with footage from real key events in the 1960s, so whenever the KGB agent speaks about a certain thing, they try to show footage relevant to that thing, and it's primarily footage of internal domestic problems in the US at the time and not global conflicts. The only Black Ops Cold War story hints that we get is that there is an agent codenamed Perseus who has infiltrated our intelligence, and by agent I mean a Russian agent. So we have a Russian defector agent spy at the absolute highest levels of our intelligence communities in the United States, and Perseus' goal is to destabilize the US and set the Soviet Union ahead in the arms race, but we don't know who Perseus is, and I assume that is the basic premise to the plot of Black Ops Cold War, and your job throughout the game will probably be to figure out who Perseus is and what Perseus is up to. So to me, this means that Black Ops Cold War will likely focus more on domestic missions in the United States. I'm guessing less globe-trotting and big, crazy warlike fights out in Siberia and Russia, and more stealthy missions, more missions on US and NATO allied soil, stuff like that. The time period seems to be set in the late 60s, early 70s, kind of like end of the Vietnam War era. And I'm a little bit bummed out by that. I really wanted to see the 80s neon synthwave Cold War stuff, but I think that's just me. I totally get why they chose the decade that they did. And I gotta say, the trailer itself is incredibly effective because it uses all real events, real live events that actually happened in US history. And not just random ones, or even really the biggest ones, but it cleverly picks events that are big and parallel real life events in our time, such as Russian interference in our elections, which is the active measures, and I'm sure you saw plenty of that in 2016, and we're seeing plenty of it in 2020. There was insinuations of ties between our president and Russia in the trailer, normalization of crazy behavior, which in 2020, I think that pretty much already happened. There was discussion and footage of economic weakness, and it showed footage of soldiers in masks, kind of like our economic crash and everybody having to wear masks because of Corona. There was discussions of weakening foreign relations in the trailer, which is also definitely literally happening right now. Our foreign relations in the US are in a rough spot. And then crisis events, internal crisis events like BLM protests or race riots or things like that, which again mirror not only 1960 but now. And this makes for an extremely effective and, in my opinion, smart opening trailer. It gets people's attention and is controversial enough to pull in outside attention as well, just outside the general gaming sphere. Almost everyone will have some kind of emotional feeling for at least one of the narrated points about Russia-US subversion and intelligence, counterintelligence, misinformation. And it's crafted in a way to where pretty much regardless of your political beliefs, if you've paid attention to the news at all this year, you will see a couple of events in the trailer that will make you go, I wonder, this feels real, this hits too close to home. And I think that's smart. It's a politicized trailer. It's much more political than Call of Duty normally does, but I think it's going to work. You can kind of see how Modern Warfare went out there on a limb and had a really brutal campaign, a fairly controversial trailer, some politicization of the events, and it worked very, very well for them for the marketing campaign, and I think that the strategy here is kind of similar. Now, at the end of the video, I do want to talk about the man who narrates it, because his name is Yuri Bezmenov. Gotta say that right, Yuri Bezmenov. He's real, he's not an actor, and this was a real interview that actually aired on TV in the 1980s. The video itself is kind of popular, it's kind of internet famous, so if you've been browsing Reddit R videos for the last, I don't know, like 10 years, you've probably seen it come up a few times. But I just want to clarify that this wasn't an actor in a studio or reading a transcript or a recreation, but it, like the rest of the stuff in the video, was a real interview. So the things that he was saying about were real, but also he was a real KGB agent. He was a journalist in Russia and a KGB agent in the 1960s and 1970s. Part of his job was implanting propaganda material in foreign media. I could probably talk 30 minutes about the methods for how this works, but he employed a great number of methods to make sure that Russian talking points made their way into the media of foreign countries in order to destabilize or run active measure against them. This is literally happening today in the US with a great variety of topics that I'm not even going to get into. But anti-vax is actually also supported by Russia because, anyway, they're still doing this. They're still working very hard to get their viewpoints and their controversy and their crazy into our media to mess up how our country runs. So Yuri did this to other countries, and he did a lot of this kind of misinformation work in India. That seems to be his specialty. He grew disillusioned with the Soviet Union. He didn't really believe in socialism, communism anymore. He wanted a better deal, and eventually would defect to Canada in the 1970s, even got a political science degree from the University of Toronto, after which he got a job on the CBC, which is the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. It's kind of like their NPR or BBC, and his job was to broadcast or translate things to the Soviet Union, or at least that's my understanding of it. Yuri Bezmenov would later get involved in US politics as well, and gave a great number of interviews similar to the one you saw in the trailer. He seemed to kind of want to warn the US about what active measures were and how they worked and how to identify them, but at the same time he was trying to play this like, I don't know, like Soviet patriot, Soviet defector kind of thing angle to maybe get himself a job on a US news station as a pundit, or maybe even a politician for himself, but it never really took off. Yuri would talk a lot about active measures, and a lot of what he said was true, but when it came for solution time, he was usually going to try to push his personal political ideologies on you, or have some kind of solution that was self-beneficial. So the more you dig on this guy, he kind of gets not so cool later in life when he really wants to be in the media, but still super interesting, and he was probably one of the first people that the American public were aware of that would talk about all of the crazy amounts of Russian misinformation and counterintelligence campaigns. So very interesting guy, you should totally look him up and read about him. Overall, I found the trailer to be super well crafted, to be interesting, to be poignant to the times, fun to watch. I just wanted some gameplay though. I really wanted to see some gameplay, but I know how this works. You get the teaser, and then they'll do some kind of reveal, probably of campaign, and then we'll get, you know, other gameplay, then multiplayer, then zombies if that's coming, and all that'll come later on. So I'm sure it'll come, and it'll come on August 20, God, I'm saying the word come way too much. It will be revealed on August 26th. So I guess on August 26th, we will all know what Black Ops Cold War is going to be all about. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out.